Welcome back to Andy and Anna Talks, where we explore the deep questions of modern life. Today, we're unlocking the secrets of memory, why we forget, how we remember, and how we can actually improve our brain's power.
Which feels more important than ever, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Ever walked into a room and that thought you had just, poof, vanished?
Oh, all the time. Or, you remember lyrics from decades ago, but not where you parked the car.
Exactly, or your keys from 5 minutes ago. It's maddening sometimes.
It really is. And it's such a universal experience, that feeling like your memory is letting you down.
And in this world, just throwing information at us constantly.
Yeah, it's easy to feel like our brains are just getting overloaded,
Yeah.
completely swamped.
Right. So our mission today is to really dive deep into this whole fascinating world of memory.
Okay.
We want to understand the different types, what helps it thrive, what sabotages it.
And crucially, what we can actually do about it, how to sharpen things up.
Yes, exactly. So let's start with the basics. What is memory, really? Because it's not just one single thing, is it?
Definitely not. It's more like a set of systems working together.
Okay, like what?
Well, first you've got short-term memory. Think of it like your brain's sticky note,
Okay.
holding tiny bits of info for just a few seconds, maybe minutes, like glancing at a phone number just before you dial it.
Gotcha.
Fleeting, very. And then there's working memory, which is maybe a step up.
How so?
It's more active. It's not just holding the info, it's doing something with it.
Yeah.
Mental math, or holding the start of a sentence in your head while listening to the rest.
Okay, so it's like juggling information mentally.
Exactly. It's that mental juggling act we do constantly.
Yeah.
A bit more sophisticated than just the sticky note.
Right, more involved. And then the big one, long-term memory.
Yep. That's the vast archive. Everything from your childhood memories, facts you learned, skills you have, it all lives there.
From way back when to, like, what I had for breakfast yesterday, hopefully.
Hopefully. And what's really cool is how they connect. You ever smell something, maybe like curry, and boom, you're back in your grandma's kitchen.
Oh, yeah, totally. Weird how that happens.
That's that long-term memory being triggered, often super strongly linked to emotions or senses.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, speaking of feeling overwhelmed, I swear, everyone I talk to lately says their memory is just tanking. Is it actually getting worse?
Well, that feeling is definitely real and widespread.
So it's not just me. Yeah.
Not at all. And a lot of it seems linked to, well, the modern world. All the stimulation.
You mean my phone buzzing every 2 minutes?
That's a big part of it, yeah. Constant notifications, multitasking, switching contexts.
All those open tabs in my brain mirroring the ones on my screen.
Exactly. That constant switching, it fragments our attention. That is absolutely step one for forming a solid memory.
So if my attention is scattered.
Then your brain finds it much harder to properly, encode that information, to tag it as important enough to keep.
Okay, that makes total sense. Like being on a Zoom call, half listening while trying to answer an email. You might technically hear someone's name, but it doesn't really land because your focus wasn't fully there.
Precisely. So it's less likely your memory is fundamentally broken, and more likely it's just overloaded. The input stage is getting jammed.
Okay, that's actually kind of reassuring. Our brains aren't necessarily failing. They're just, dealing with an onslaught.
Cognitive onslaught, yeah.
So given that, what are the big things that either help memory stay sharp or actively work against it?
Okay, number one, gotta be sleep. It's absolutely paramount.
Really? More than like brain games.
Way more fundamental. During sleep, especially deep sleep, our brains are hard at work consolidating memories.
Consolidating, like
Yeah.
tidying up.
Sort of. It's like transferring important files from a temporary folder, your short-term memory, or the hippocampus, to the main hard drive, your long-term storage in the cortex.
Okay. And if you don't get enough sleep?
That whole process gets disrupted. Things don't get filed properly. Hence that brain fog after a bad night.
I remember pulling all-nighters in college. Felt like absolute mush the next day. Couldn't recall a thing from the textbook.
Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Your brain didn't get the chance to save the data.
Okay, sleep is huge. What else?
Stress, especially chronic long-term stress.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. When we're chronically stressed, our bodies pump out cortisol. A little is fine, helps us react, but
Too much is bad news.
right. Prolonged high levels of cortisol can actually damage the hippocampus.
The memory-making hub we just talked about.
Exactly. So that feeling of your mind going completely blank when you're really anxious or stressed,
Yeah.
there's a real biological reason for that.
Wow, okay. That's Good to know, I guess. Motivates dealing with stress.
Mm.
What about the good stuff? What helps?
Well, things like mindfulness. Practicing being present helps train your attention.
Which we said is step 1 for memory encoding.
You got it. Also, good nutrition, giving your brain the actual building blocks it needs. And moderate exercise.
How does exercise help? Just getting the blood pumping.
That's a big part of it.
Okay.
Increases blood flow, oxygen, nutrients to the brain, all vital for cognitive function, including memory.
Okay, let's stick with food for a second. Are there specific brain foods we should be thinking about?
Yeah, definitely. Omega-3 fatty acids are superstars, found in fatty fish like salmon, also walnuts, flax seeds. They're crucial for brain cell structure and function.
Okay, omega-3s. What else?
Leafy greens, spinach, kale, you know the drill, packed with antioxidants that protect brain cells. Berries, too, especially blueberries, little antioxidant powerhouses.
Nice. Easy enough to add in.
And don't forget hydration. Seriously, even mild dehydration can mess with your concentration and memory. So keep that water bottle handy.
Good reminder. Mine's right here. Okay, this is super helpful. Can we, peek under the hood a bit? How does a memory actually form? What's the neuroscience, but, friendly version?
Okay, the friendly version. So you have an experience, right? Sensory info comes in. It gets processed initially in the hippocampus.
Our key player again.
It's our key player. Think of the hippocampus like the brain's librarian or maybe an editor. It gets all this incoming information.
Right.
And it has to decide, is this important? Is this worth keeping long term?
How does it decide?
Well, things that are emotionally charged, happy, sad, scary, get prioritized. Also, things you pay close attention to, or things that are novel or surprising. If the hippocampus deems it worthy.
The librarian approves the book.
Exactly. It
Right.
then helps coordinate sending that memory out to be stored in different parts of the cortex, depending on what kind of memory it is.
So, an emotional memory might involve the amygdala more?
Precisely. Visual parts stored in visual areas, sound and auditory areas, and so on. The hippocampus links it all together initially, then helps store it more permanently elsewhere.
Which totally explains why I have this crystal clear, gut-wrenching memory of Mufasa dying in The Lion King.
Oh yeah, emotional payload.
But I genuinely couldn't tell you where I parked at the grocery store yesterday because it wasn't emotional or noteworthy.
Exactly. Your hippocampus librarian basically went, meh, routine parking event, not shelf-worthy.
My librarian is very judgy about parking spots. Okay, so bringing it back down to earth.
Yeah.
We all have those moments, right? Those memory fails that are kind of funny or just frustrating.
Oh, absolutely. It's part of being human. Keeps us humble.
I have one. Standing at the ATM, totally blanked on my PIN, just gone. Stared at the keypad like it was ancient hieroglyphics.
Oh no, what did you do?
I just walked away, defeated by 4 numbers, left my groceries behind. It was mortifying.
Been there, in different ways. I once forgot my partner's birthday.
Oof, that's a doozy.
Tell me about it. My brain was just fried from work deadlines. Pure overload. The guilt afterwards. That was a strong memory, let me tell you. Much stronger than the date itself, apparently.
See, it's so relatable, though. It just shows memory isn't some perfect computer database.
Not at all. It's messy. It's tied up with our feelings, our focus, what's going on around us.
It's wonderfully, frustratingly human.
Couldn't have said it better. But the good news is, because it's a brain process, we can influence it. We can train it, sort of.
Okay, I like the sound of that. Memory hacks. Are there actual science-backed ways to boost this stuff?
Yes, absolutely. Not magic, but solid techniques. One big one is spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition sounds technical.
It's actually pretty simple. Instead of cramming information all at once.
My college strategy.
Yeah, the classic ineffective strategy. Instead, you review the information at increasing intervals over time.
How does that help?
Each time you recall it, especially after a bit of a gap, you strengthen the neural pathway for that memory. It tells your brain, hey, this is important, keep it accessible. It makes it stick way better long term.
So using flashcards, but reviewing them tomorrow, then in 3 days, then in a week? Something like that.
Exactly. It's like watering a plant regularly instead of drowning it once. Gives the roots time to grow strong.
I like that analogy. Okay, spaced repetition. What else is in the toolkit?
Visualization. Our brains are wired for images. We remember pictures much better than abstract words or numbers.
So turn information into a picture in my head.
Yes. And make it vivid. Weird, funny, emotional. The more hooks, the better.
Okay, give me an example. Let's say I need to remember someone named Lily, who rides horses.
Okay. Don't just picture her. Picture her holding a giant, luminous lily flower.
Yeah.
while riding a miniature horse. Maybe the horse is wearing a tiny hat.
Okay, the weirder the better.
Often, yeah. The more distinctive and engaging the mental image, the easier it is to retrieve later. You're creating more connections.
I can get creative with that. Barnaby and the burning barn full of bees.
Got it.
Okay, you also mentioned mindfulness earlier. How does that tie in again?
Right. Mindfulness trains your attention, your ability to be present now.
And attention is step one for encoding.
Exactly. If you're more present and focused when information comes in, you lay down a stronger initial memory trace. Even just taking a second to really notice your surroundings can help you recall them later. Less autopilot, more intentional noticing.
Makes sense. Pay attention now, remember later. What about movement? You mentioned exercise.
Yeah, physical activity is huge for brain health overall.
How so? For memory specifically?
Well, it increases blood flow, delivering that crucial oxygen and nutrients, but it also boosts factors that promote neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity, the brain changing and making new connections.
Yep, which is fundamental for learning and forming new memories.
Yeah.
You don't need to run a marathon. Even a brisk daily walk makes a measurable difference.
Good to know. A walk is doable. Okay, and circling back to nutrition one last time.
Keep hitting those omega-3s, the leafy greens, the berries we talked about. Turmeric also shows promise. Its active compound, curcumin, has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects that seem beneficial for the brain.
Interesting. Turmeric lattes for the win.
Maybe. And on the flip side, try to reduce sugary drinks and highly processed foods. They can contribute to inflammation and sort of gunk up the works, cognitively speaking.
Okay. So it really sounds like boosting memory isn't just about learning tricks. It's about a whole lifestyle, really.
That's a great way to put it. It's about living better, being more present, creating those emotional or attentional tags for experiences, and just giving your brain the right conditions to do its amazing job. Like tending a garden. It needs time, nourishment, attention.
And maybe, being a little kinder to ourselves when we do forget where we put the keys for the 5th time this week.
Absolutely. It's normal,
Yeah.
especially now. Have some self-compassion. It happens to everyone.
Memory isn't about perfection. Maybe it's more about intention, being fully there for the moments that matter.
I think that's it. Engaging fully with the stuff you want to remember.
So bottom line, whether you're studying, trying to remember names, or just want to feel a bit less mentally foggy.
There are real things you can do. Slow down a bit. Definitely prioritize sleep.
Yeah.
Eat something green.
Go for that walk. And hey, it's okay to write things down.
Totally okay. Use
Yeah.
external aids. Your brain will thank you.
Well, hopefully this deep dive has left everyone feeling a bit more empowered, maybe a little less alone in those "where did my thought go" moments.
Yeah, you're not losing your mind. You're just navigating a really demanding world for our attention and memory systems.
Couldn't agree more.
We'll see you next time on Andy and Anna Talks. Until then, remember to take care of that beautiful brain of yours.